we go. 1 second. Serious business this live streaming on a Sunday morning. What's up? Some like it hot and some sweat when the heat is on. I choose to podcast instead. So put your balls on ice. There is a fresh episode of the Savage Sack Tap, and it starts right now.
You're listening to the Savage Sack Tap. It's not a podcast, it's not a half-cast, it's just a quick shot to the balls to help you finish off the week. We're cutting through the bullshit, filling your Friday with rage-fueled logic, and cracking a few jokes along the way. So grab a bag of frozen peas. There's a Savage Sack Tap coming your way.
Smooth, lascivious, salacious, outrageous.
Good morning, motherfuckers. Happy Sunday morning. I'm sweating my balls off here in Jersey City. Actually, it's not that bad. If you hear a light buzzing behind you, that would be the floor fan that I have going. And the nice thing about a studio apartment is that the entire space is immediately cooled by a shitty little floor fan. So I don't have to worry about fucking air conditioning or fucking high utility bills, any of that shit. A perfectly pleasant weekend inside while it's 100 and whatever the fuck outside, thanks to a fucking $15 floor fan. I absolutely love it. I should probably get a new one, because this thing's covered in dust, so it's probably blowing out dust and I'm breathing it, and eventually they're going to be well, Mr. Montone, we found a mass on your lung, and you have 6 months. So maybe I should invest wisely in something like that. And like a water filter, I guess? I don't know. Something, cancer sucks. But yeah, it has been hot as fuck. I don't know if you guys have... Some of you I know do not live in the New York City area, but it has been hot as a motherfucker. Like, the past few days, the real feel has been over 100. I was out Friday walking around New York City trying to interview people for work, and I just got fucking roasted. I had to sit down underneath a tree and drink a fucking a coconut water to replenish. I am a huge coconut water guy these days, by the way, because since I've backed off on drinking alcohol, I've needed a tasty beverage to consume while I do, because I like to, when other people are drinking, I like to smoke. Like, I'll have a little iced coffee before, and I'll smoke a little bit, and I get my buzz that way. I think it's better than booze. But I've been throwing in, so I can, you want to drink something nice on a summer day. So I've been taking coconut water, mixing it with like club soda or San Pellegrino, and then squeezing in some lime juice. Man, first of all, it's fantastic. You drink some of that shit while you're smoking a fat ass doober, you're gonna have a good time. It's great. It's refreshing. I highly recommend it. But boy, it's so fucking hot. When you go outside, it's not like you're getting like a tan or a burn or anything like that. It cooks your skin, and you're sweating, so it's like your skin is actually getting boiled. Like, you come back into the air conditioner, and it's literally like putting a piece of cooked meat in the refrigerator. Absolutely disgusting. On the happy note, though, I did go to a barbecue yesterday, which, in addition to eating like a goddamn savage, did include a few moments of hilarity. I think I can share at least one of them. Do I have any others? Yeah, I can share one of them. One of them I feel like would probably be talking out of school. But I had probably 4 or 5 plates of like mac and cheese, macaroni salad. Yeah, went heavy on a rare heavy on the pastas day for me. Yeah, I loaded up on those and I went fucking balls out on sides alone, and then came the meat. The best ribs I have ever had in my life. Big Bry Tish cooked up, and then there was like brisket and turkey and all sorts of other stuff. I fucking loaded. I'm going to have a monster first couple days back in the gym this week, just because of all the extra calories I got in. I can fucking feel it. I'm really looking forward to deadlifting either later on today or tomorrow afternoon. What a fucking, I just feasted. And as is wont to happen when one feasts that much, and I did have a little bit of booze too, by the way, so I was piling on. And then you mix in all like the appetizers and snacks and stuff. I had a robust deuce start growing in me. So they were about to set up a game of Flip Cup, and I was like, I cannot in good conscience begin playing a game of Flip Cup with a huge, I mean, my stomach, it was filled to the brim, and I had a huge deuce growing inside my intestines. Like, I could feel it moving towards the opening, and I was like, I can't get into this game and then leave to take a shit. Like, I have to go take a shit before this game begins. So I just snuck away before I got roped in and went to the available bathroom was right next to the kitchen, actually. So in plain earshot of people as they were loading up their plates, I was squeezing out a monster deuce, and I mean monster. I think it. Not only did I clear my intestines out, but I think like the actual pile up in my stomach just dropped out. I've taken 2 this morning as well, by the way. I don't know, I might have taken 1 last night when I got home. Anyway, a considerable amount of defecation going on after a fantastic day of eating. And as tends to happen at these events, chicks are constantly going to the bathroom to pee. So I'm like in there shitting my brains out, and I hear fucking, because I didn't know most of the people. I probably say I knew about a third to half of the crowd there. So they're all, I hear people like knocking on the door and like chicks talking like, I don't know, someone's been in there for a while, and I'm just sitting there with logs dropping out of my ass while there are 2 chicks out there. Thankfully, they did have a squeeze bottle of that poo-pourri stuff, so I could spray it. And one other dude definitely took a shit because I was waiting to. Actually, a couple other dudes definitely took shits because I was waiting to get in to take a piss at a couple of points, and they whatchamacall, it was longer than a piss, and then finally hearing the water running, and then they come out and they have that kind of look on their face like, oh, I didn't expect anyone to be outside of the bathroom right after I took a big steaming dump. But that's what happens when you go to all-you-can-eat events. Bowels get filled, and bowels have to be they have to be emptied. But what a fantastic day! One of the best prepared meals I have ever had in my life, and I come from a family of cooks, but this was just, I'm a fucking carnivore, I'm a fucking meat eater, and god damn, I mean, oh, the fucking brisket. You never get good brisket because no one wants to put the fucking time into making it. This was just amazing fucking brisket. Barbecue fucking rules. I don't understand. You're an asshole if you don't eat meat. I mean, unless you have a legitimate, like, religious or fucking dietary need to not do it, you gotta fucking eat meat. Oh, I just got the text from DJs to let me know that it's almost time for bingo popped up. I have not. Actually, that's not true. I've got a couple Belmar weekends in this summer, but man, yeah, fucking meat, baby. Fuck yeah. I do love a good meat. Very American. The barbecue, very, very American to do, unless it's Korean barbecue, and then it's very Korean. But man, I fucking love a good barbecue. If you're having have a fucking barbecue. There is no time of year that isn't good for barbecued food or fucking just meat cooked over a fire. There's no need to get too fancy with a meal. I would say like 80% of the time, if you're going to be eating socially, just do big fucking slabs of meat. I like a nice Italian restaurant dinner as much as the next guy, but it's just not, dude. Just fucking hulking piles of meat will never get old. Anyway, enough about how I loaded up my bowels with meat and took a bunch of huge shits this weekend. A whole lot. The Donald has been, as he is wont to be, in the news for his social media musings lately. I guess I don't even know what the direct quote is. Did he tell? They're calling them the Squad now. It's AOC, Omar, and a couple other Democratic lawmakers. He told them to go back where they come from, which I guess for all of them actually happens to be America. Although I guess Omar grew up, or was born in Somalia and then moved to America. In any case, American politics has gotten so fucking absurd here. Trump is once again playing the Trump card. And what he has done is, if you don't know what he said something along the lines of, like, if they don't like it here, they should go back, fix the places that they came from, and then come back here and they can work on the United States, or something along those lines. But obviously with the connotation that these women all go back to some fucking country, right? A little bit of a dog whistle there for sure. But I don't think people understand the reason that he's doing it. The reason he's doing it isn't to whip up a fucking racial frenzy among his followers. The reason he's doing it is to create this backlash whereby moderate Democrats have to move to the left so that they can back up the Squad. But in doing so, they themselves have to move further and further to the left, thus alienating more moderate voters and, like, normal Americans, who will then say, look, here's the fucking deal, I don't agree with racist statements, but I also don't agree with these absurd fucking policies that AOC and Ilhan Omar and the rest of these nutjobs want to push. The motherfucker, it's the fucking Donald. He plays chess when everyone else is playing checkers. And as much of, like, a big orange jackass as he looks like, the guy is good at doing these very sort of, like, marketing, manipulating type things. Like, that's where he's fucking brilliant. He talks about not being a politician, but he has the savvy when it comes to some of this shit, or at least the people he surrounded himself with have the savvy of, like, a million politicians. Pure political move. Like, it honestly, this has nothing to do with him actually wanting them to go anywhere. He was just trying to, he knew exactly which fucking button to push to get them all fucking going. Like, it's like taking a big, like, opening up like a pixie stick is the word I'm looking for, and pouring it near a fucking ant colony and just watching the ants scramble around for the sugar. There's nothing Democrats love more than grandstanding over a racist statement by Trump or someone from his camp. So if that's what they want, then give it to them and watch them all go ballistic for a week on camera, and go further and pull moderates further to the left and alienate normal voters. Just brilliant Trump stuff there, and it's amazing that they don't realize it yet either. Like, unfucking believable. If you did the old, like, just brush the dirt off your shoulder, I'm not going to give that jackass any credence, and went about your business, what do you think would happen? Fucking nothing. Now Chuck Schumer's calling for reparations. We've got Chuck Schumer calling for fucking reparations now. He's angling closer to the Squad. Now nobody trusts these fucking guys. Now it's like Chuck and Nancy have completely lost control over the Congress. I mean, just amazing stuff. Hilarious. Our American politics are hilarious. That's the other thing. I can't fucking stand anymore. Well, you need to be, in 2019, you need to be past the point of, like, getting mad about politics. It's all a big fucking show. Like, just enjoy it. It's so stupid and silly that if at this point... I know in 2016, everyone was riled up, everyone had a hot take. if you're among the morons still getting like, well, did you hear what she said? They want to open the gates to all the illegals. Or if you're like, actually, we no longer need cis-male representation in the halls of Congress, and it should only be trans persons of color and Latinx women. If you're either of those sides, like, you're just a fucking jerk-off at this point. Seriously. And speaking of those jerk-offs, I was on the bus the other day. I was going into the city on Sunday to work on a few things at the radio station, and this fucking like middle-aged dude hobbles on with a cane, and I'm like, oh, look at this nice old man. He's gonna sit in the handicap seat there, and he's gonna enjoy a nice day out in New York City. And then he started talking to the to the black bus driver and the Hispanic passenger sitting across him. It was the day when they were supposed to do those ICE raids, and he was saying, they're saying they're only going to arrest 2,000. Well, that's certainly not my president. I want him to arrest 2 million, he says to the Hispanic woman seated across from her, and explained that the best way to do this, instead of going door to door, would be to hold a free soccer game and give away free tacos. Just have taco trucks show up to this big free professional soccer game, and then when all of the Hispanic families showed up to enjoy their free soccer and tacos, that's when he would have ICE round everybody up. I'm gonna be honest, I don't even think that would lure illegals, because most of them are busy at work. They'd be working the fucking game. Like, they'd be cleaning up garbage outside of it and like, working the taco I don't know what kind of, if he was envisioning a hipster food truck doing tacos, you might just wind up getting a bunch of assholes from Brooklyn who think that, it's cool to watch soccer because it's a non-violent sport, and they're going to be food trucks. So you might just wind up having ICE arrest a bunch of annoying white people. But if you're talking like a traditional, like a roach coach, that the Mexican guys are just going to be working it. They're not going to be at the fucking game. It's a terrible strategy. This would be a Caucasian-heavy event, my friend. I promise you. It would be a bunch of fucking asshole white people serving fucking, pulled chicken on fucking artisanally sourced flour and corn tortillas. It would just be absolutely terrible. A bunch of douchebags with big beards and sleeve tattoos and ear gauges and all the rest, walking around talking about how they don't really like sports, but soccer's okay because it's so international and it can be easily played by the poor, unlike football and lacrosse, which are mostly for American straight white cis males. But yeah, he what the fuck else did he say? He said instead of rounding them up and sending them out of the country, they should just all be dumped into Chicago to shoot it out, because that would serve the purpose of, one, not only killing all of the illegals and I guess other undesirable minorities, it would also clean up Chicago. So it was sort of a two birds with one stone deal he was going for there. So at least he's an innovative racist. And he also added that he circled back to the soccer game and said that if he owned a food truck, he would play the Southern. I don't know if it wasn't their national anthem, but it was one of their war songs, Dixie. I wish I was in Dixie, away. And he started whistling. He was whistling Dixie to a black bus driver and a Hispanic woman on the bus from his handicapped seat. Quite a fella. Not that I condoned such. It was almost such cartoonish racism that it wasn't like there was no threat there. Like, he wasn't going to cause any physical harm to these people. So it was just kind of like, let's just sit here and watch this guy make a complete and utter ass out of himself, which was it was very, very funny to me. Real quick, social media, you can find me, facebook.com/The Savage Crew is, of course, where if you're watching the live stream, that's where you're checking it out right now. Twitter, @Mike Montone. Instagram, @Gary_Moyler, Moyler. I've been kind of quiet on social media lately again. I just started a new gig, what is it, 7 weeks ago, so inside, first couple months, I just don't think it's right for me to be, fucking around on social media all the time while I have a new job to learn and new responsibilities to take on. Once we get into the fall a little bit and I'm more into the rhythm and established with the new job, then you'll see me fucking around more on social media. And I would like to get back to doing those little 10 to 20 minute kind of daily or semi-daily live streams. But right now I wake up at 2 a.m. to get ready to go to work, so it's kind of, and that's the latest I can get up and have an effective morning. So I just I got to figure out what the deal is. Maybe doing an Instagram or a Facebook live after work when I get in, or some such shit. But we'll see. For now, I will continue doing these once a week or whatever. You'll usually Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sundays when you're gonna see it again. I can't promise to be too consistent, but I did want to do it weekly. Technically, I didn't do one last week because I'm doing this one on Sunday, but you know what I mean. You're getting one about once a week, and that's what matters, you fuckers. And of course, if you want to download the place where the show lives is thesavagecrew.libsyn, LIBSYN.com, and that's where you can find every episode. And we got some good ones, so go back through the archive. There's some fun stuff back there, especially back from the winter and spring when before I started the new gig and I had time to really prep and dive into stuff. But speaking of diving into stuff, I'm going to grab my tablet here if I can. A couple of little news stories that I wanted to go over. I have 12% battery left, so I do have to make this quick. We'll see. Come on, there we go. Rihanna accused of cultural appropriation. This is always so much fun, but she's accused of appropriating Chinese culture, but Chinese people disagree. So she, I guess she does this cover shoot for Harper's Bazaar in China, and she's wearing a kimono, and it looks like just kind of like a mishmash of different Asian styles. And let's see. When the Harper's Bazaar China cover was unveiled, the account reposted one of the images alongside the caption, "It's your turn to shine," but they had to delete it. I guess they were trying to advertise Rihanna's beauty brand. It's about to be released in China, and she had a very famous local photographer, this guy Chen Man, I'm assuming a Chinese photographer, take the pictures, so you can imagine no problem there. Yeah, I mean, Jean-Paul Gaultier supplied the gown. So this is a high-end, carefully considered thing. But Twitter users were angry that her hair, makeup, and props were a form of cultural appropriation. And now remember, Twitter is not easily accessible in China, so these were not Chinese people who were getting angry at it. So it's funny. I'm not even seeing the angry. They haven't even quoted the angry tweets in this article, which is very weird to me. You would think that in an article, you would think that a fucking article about this would have some of the angry tweets. But in any case, Rihanna has been accused of cultural appropriation, of appropriating Chinese culture. And the Chinese are the ones defending her. I'm assuming the people angry at her are, are Americans. Let me see if I can find some. This is very silly. And this is what I mean, like, I don't have as much time to show prep and shit, so just give me a fucking heartbeat here. Cultural appropriate. If you're listening to this show for the first time ever, I assure you it used to be very good. Jesus, she gets called out. This is not the first time she's been accused. Apparently her skinny eyebrows were once accused of cultural appropriation as well. Here's Uproxx may have it. Let's see. They're usually pretty good with this kind of shit. Oh, here we go. I got some. And now they're doing the thing where it takes forever to load. Okay. Joanne says, y'all, Rihanna popped up with this on my timeline and people are saying it's not cultural appropriation because it was approved by a team of Chinese people. As if a couple Chinese fashion designers looking for money and attention have it in their best interest to care about what's insensitive. But them wanting to make money does not discount their experience as Chinese people. So if they're not bothered by it, it's just so annoying to always see Westerners in pop culture normalize the use of Asian culture as exotic. Props and then see the double standard when Asians having braids in their natural hair is suddenly peak appropriation. Well, no one's fucking mad at Asians for braiding their hair. Is that a thing? I think I don't know what the fuck is going on there. Has there been a time when Asians were accused of cultural appropriation for wearing braids? I know Asians have gotten, like, the shaft on a few things, like admissions to schools and stuff, but I didn't think they ever got shit on for. If that's true, it's absolute bullshit. But still, that doesn't mean that Rihanna is committing cultural taking on aspects of another. It's not cultural appropriation. It's cultural fucking complementation. It's not a word, but it is. Anyway, what do they say here? No one is going to talk about Rihanna's cultural appropriation just because y'all love her, huh? Shows how selective and fake woke y'all are. You don't care about cultures. You just want to tear down successful people. Oh, so I guess they're saying that normally you would go after someone, but if one of your idols does it, then you won't. So you're fake woke unless you go after everyone for it. Which at least that's consistent. I'll give them that. I don't know. I just highly disagree. First of all, you got a Chinese team doing it for a Chinese magazine, and then you got Chinese people coming to say, I've always said she could pull anything off. A Chinese Yi Si, a Chinese blogger says, called her sexy yet classy and graceful. That's beauty. So yeah, this guy is complimenting her. Another person says, I think that Riri using her influence to highlight Chinese culture is a great thing. That's what you're supposed to say when they do it. It's not like, what would appropriating culture be? Like, I could see if you did a Trail of Tears photo shoot, people being mad, or an internment camp photo shoot, or an Auschwitz photo shoot. I think those would be appropriation, right? Because you're appropriating the suffering that was unique to those cultures, and in doing so, you're claiming the right to something that you never experienced. That would be, I think, a form of appropriation. But I don't know. I think Rihanna dressing in Chinese fashion is it complements it. She's saying, I have the biggest designers in the world working for me and taking care of me and wanting to, put me in their clothing. And I ask them to make it in this style because I so admire it. That's what that says to me. I don't understand how that's appropriation. Someone simply using so I mean, what's the deal now? Are we geographically constrained to only what we grew up and with and around? If that's the case, and I'm fine. Look, I love New Jersey Italian culture is fantastic to me. I love it. I would be perfectly happy if you were like, Mike, I'm sorry to tell you this, but by the rules of cultural appropriation, for the rest of your life, all you can do is lift weights, drink protein shakes, go to the beach, listen to Frank Sinatra and house music, and eat Italian food, and pursue short, dark-haired women with fake breasts and lots of makeup. I would, no one would be too bugged by that. What can I watch on TV? Well, The Sopranos, most fantastic. As I I've got it good as an Italian guy from Jersey. I get all of those things. It would suck to be anyone from a lot of other places, right? If you're from Delaware, not a whole lot of culture to appropriate down there. You're kind of fucked, If you're from the middle of Pennsylvania, again, not a whole lot of culture to appropriate. I know there is a culture out there, just it's not very. I'm sorry. I know the flyover areas of this country get shit on like crazy, and it's probably not the nicest thing in the world. But, I've been there, and it's kind of warranted sometimes. What I'm saying is that a lot of your restaurants suck balls. Yeah, I don't know. What I do like about Middle America, though, is their dedication to masturbating and praying. If you ride on the highway, I've said this before, out in the middle of the country, it's every other sign will be for a church or a strip club / adult video / dildo store. It's like literally, they're like, what is there to do out here but, show our faith in the Almighty and jerk off. Anyway, moving on. Speaking of shit in the middle of nowhere, 1.7 million want to raid Area 51 to see them aliens. They can't stop us all, says the Facebook page. So there is, I don't know, like, if you've heard of it, but there is a Facebook page out there with over 1 million people signed up, approaching 2 million, I guess, to storm Area 51 to see the aliens. And the plan is they're going to do what's called a Naruto run, which was just explained to me the other day. And it is, when you do a Naruto run, you can run faster than bullets. And what you do is you bend down and you put your arms back thusly, and you sprint forward. And that is a Naruto run. And apparently that is how you build up to top speed to outrun the bullets at Area 51. In any case, I guess they say the event is fake, but a lot of people really do want to do it. They want to get into Area 51, and of course, it is all Joe Rogan's fault because he had Bob Lazar on the podcast, and Bob Lazar is the guy who claims that he had worked at Area 51. I guess as like a teenager on some sort of project that he believes was derived from alien craft that the government had captured, and now the government knows that he knows too much, so he made a documentary to put it out there so that if he winds up dead, everyone knows that it was the government that offed him. And this, as a result, has spawned this desire to crash Area 51. I always feel like I have a few feelings on this. One, there is totally a bunch of shit that the government is up to that we have no clue about, and whether that is, secret kill lists, or fucking espionage, or alien stuff, or hiding pieces of history, or whatever, or running experiments and developing different equipment. They're up to some shit. It's just like think of how much stuff like giant corporations do in secret that either wind up getting exposed years later, or even if it's just secret stuff to work on a product. Okay, those are big corporations. We're talking about the U.S. fucking government with boots on the ground in just dozens of fucking countries and ships all over the place and hidden plots of land. I mean, they're fucking up to some. At all times, I feel like we should be like, oh yeah, the government is doing. It's like, I don't mean to be one of those fucking guys like, it's the government. Like Bob Lazar is like a guy who's like, it's the government. But at the same time, it's also, to what extent do you take it? Like, have fucking spaceships with little green men really crashed into America? I mean, that's a wild thing to think of. And if we have been visited, then why has nothing come of it, or has something come of it that we don't realize? I mean, there's just so much to ask and wonder about. If you think of the universe, of everything that's out there, there's gotta be something, right? I'm always torn on whether the something is intelligent life, which it seems that some form of intelligent life would be out there. Now, we don't know to what degree intelligent. Look, whales are intelligent, but they're constrained by the fact that they have to live underwater. So that begs the question, is there a planet somewhere with a super intelligent species that can really only live underwater? Maybe they can go up on land the way we can scuba dive. They can do it a little, you know what I mean? So there are just all these fucking possibilities out there. So the idea that there isn't a form of intelligent life out there, it would be very strange to me. But then a lot of people say, oh, but if there is, then we would have had to have been visited. Otherwise, what are the odds that we're the most advanced ones? And you're like, but look, like I said, it could just be that they're the whales and they just haven't found, their thumbs aren't opposable or whatever. Maybe there is some constraint on them, right? If whales had opposable thumbs and could walk on land, they might give humans a run for their fucking money. I think at the very least, there is probably there has to be some form of life out there, right? There's just too much space for there to be nothing. Like, it seems like there would have to, at least even at like the microbiotic level, that there would be some form of life out in space. And I always think it's weird, and it's scientists and they know a lot more about this shit than I do, but I always think it's weird when we compare it to human life, because you don't know what fucking exists in a dozen fucking galaxies or solar systems away. It could be anything. There could be elements that we haven't figured out yet. There could be forms of gravity or whatever that we don't know how they fucking work. There could be what if there was air that was like supercharged? Every time you breathe, it gives you, like, it would, it's normal to whatever lives on that planet, but to a human it would give you like a supercharged erection. Just nothing. You don't, and I'm just using that as an example. You just don't know what the fuck is out there, because there's just so much there out there. The universe is so vast that to think that you could accurately predict, there's X, Y, and Z out there, and we know that it's just, as advanced and developed as we are with putting like rovers on Mars and telescopes and all of this shit, I don't buy that. I think it's incredibly arrogant to say that Earth is the only life-sustaining planet because we live on it. Like, it's the only life-sustaining planet for mammals and animals as we know them, right? Yeah, if you breathe oxygen, if you breathe oxygen and need water and sunlight to survive, yes, Earth is the only life-sustaining planet. But we don't know that there isn't some shit out there that doesn't need any of that. There are fish at the bottom of the ocean that just live in complete fucking darkness. There are animals like camels that can just hold water forever. There are just different kinds of creatures all on our Earth that can do all of this shit. So who the fuck is to say that out there in the universe there aren't planets where life, perhaps intelligent, perhaps just kind of, animals moving around, not, again, intelligent is relative, but their version of whatever. Maybe there's some fucking animals that, like, swim in hot lava. I don't fucking know, but they might exist on a different planet. It's just, I think it's arrogant to say completely what is and what isn't. As far as Area 51, I would love to find out what is in there. If I can convince, when is this supposed to go down? September 20th? I might have to convince my my bosses to send me to this thing. I mean, I really want to kind of go. Area 51. I mean, we've been hearing about it forever. So we'll see. I mean, now we play the waiting game. I hope it goes down. I really do. Because if it happens, if even if only a few thousand people show up and attempt to Naruto run into Area 51, it will be one of the greatest news or just public happenings of our lifetime, I feel like. Thousands of people attempting to charge Area 51 on the search for aliens would do a lot for me. And I will wrap on that. Well, a rather short one today, only about 40 some odd minutes. But it's a Sunday. It's a hot, lazy Sunday, and I have a bunch of other shit to work on. So I will post this to the podcast page later this afternoon or sometime tonight or whatever. If you are the type that listens to the audio show, and yeah, and that's that. Facebook.com/The Savage Crew is where you've watched this live stream. Twitter @Mike Montone. Instagram @Gary_Moyler, MOYLER. And of course the podcast available wherever podcasts are downloaded, but kind of lives over at thesavagecrew.libsyn, LIBSYN.com. Thesavagecrew.libsyn.com. Thanks, guys. Later.